It's been pretty quiet in these past 2 days for the Warriors. Obviously, no trade and no buyout market movement so far. Well, I will keep an eye on the buyout market and bring you guys updates. I want to use this video to specifically talk about Steve Kerr. To be honest, I didn't think it's necessary until yesterday, where the Warriors completely got exposed by the LA Clippers in basically all angles. You can make the argument that it's players' faults for bad execution, but some of the rotational planning from Steve Kerr is just showing some serious concerns. If we keep playing the way we do right now, I don't know how far we can go in the playoffs. In today's video, we'll be breaking down some of the errors Steve Kerr has been making for years and how it negatively affects the Warriors. And with that being said, let's show the intro.
Hi. I'm on my match in the dark. 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 I'm on my match.
Yo, what's up guys, Jason's here back with another video. If it's the first time watching, I make Golden State Warriors content and break down their news and rumors from all angles. So if you want full-time Warriors coverage, don't forget to leave that subscribe and turn on the notification bell, and you will always be notified first when I upload a new video. Yesterday against the LA Clippers without Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, the Warriors lost by 15 points. Looking at the box score, Steph Curry had 33 points and that's really it. What really concerns me right now is whenever Steph Curry plays good, the entire team underperforms. But when Steph plays bad, the entire team stands out and delivers a decent performance. Obviously, I have no problem that the entire team stands out when Steph underperforms. That's a great sign to show that the team doesn't rely on one player. But the fact that when Steph plays good and the entire team underperforms is a serious question we have to ask ourselves. Now, take a look at this clip here. Steph was on fire yesterday in the first half, and guess what Steve Kerr did? He put Steph on the bench, and it's clear that Steph is not happy with the decision. It's understandable that Steve Kerr wants to minimize injury risks, but putting a player on fire on the bench simply makes no sense. Now, I don't know much about psychology, but I think we can conclude why the team performs bad when Steph plays good. When Steph is on fire, there is basically no pressure on any other players, so once Steph gets off the court, there is a diminished tendency on offense, and therefore players can't make the proper adjustments. Obviously, this is completely my own take, so let me know your thoughts about this. I have a genuine feeling that Steve Kerr is relying way too much on a small ball lineup. Sometimes Kerr puts on 3 guards or even 4 guards on the floor. There's honestly no difference between this and the Rockets offense a few years back when James Harden was there. Double the offense and half the defense, but the problem now is there isn't enough offense going on to fill in the deficit defense causes. Now, I wouldn't be concerned if this was a few weeks back when the Warriors had number 1 defense, but this obviously is no longer the case. Okay, look, what absolutely frustrates me yesterday is what Steve Kerr said after the game. Quote, "The main thing is that our defense has been bad. It's been bad for 6 or 7 games now. It's hard to win this league when you're looking like we are defensively with so many holes in our games. I know we're number 1 in defense, but we're not right now. Those numbers are inflated by what we did early in the season. Over the last 7 games, we are probably bottom 5, if not dead last in defensive possessions." Well, according to Anthony Slater, Steve Kerr is exactly right. Quote, "Defensive rating the last 7 games for the Warriors, 116.1, 9th worst in the NBA. Now, you can argue for Steve Kerr because there's no Draymond Green and James Wiseman, but if you're a historically top 15 coach, you should be able to make the proper adjustments, and yet Steve Kerr failed to do that. I appreciate Coach Kerr for pointing this out, but what he actually does during game time contradicts himself. That's just not me. Take a look at what other fans have to say about Steve Kerr. Here are just a few examples. So we're in a hole defensively. To combat that, Steve Kerr puts in checks note Damian Lee. D. Lee is a negative 15 in 11 minutes. Otto Porter Jr. is a plus 9 in 6 minutes. What is wrong with Steve Kerr? Ty Lue went to the anyone but Steph defense again, and of course, Steve Kerr does 0 counter for it. Top 15 all time. Coaches want Steph off the ball, and lucky for them, Steve Kerr wants Steph off the ball as well. Steve Kerr benches Steph, Clippers go on 9-0 run, puts him back in. If Steve Kerr coaches the Suns, DeAndre Ayton will be handling the ball, while CP3 and Booker set back screens. Now, I don't have any hate on Steve Kerr. He played a major role in the Warriors dynasty runs, but some of these recent game planning are just really questionable. I think another problem that we're having right now that Steve Kerr should be responsible for is the center position. During the offseason, Steve Kerr is the main driving force behind the signing of Nemanja Bjelica. Don't get me wrong here, Nemanja Bjelica is theoretically a great fit for the Warriors because he can run the offense and have threat behind the arc, but his defense is really a big concern, and his usage has been going down recently. On the other hand, for Kevon Looney, he has some defensive attributes and great chemistry with Steph and Clay, but he's basically just a warm body on the offensive side of the ball as a screen setter because he has no threat behind the arc or anywhere mid-range. The problem is, Steve Kerr exactly knows this issue, but he has yet to strongly pursue a big man before the trade deadline or now with the buyout market or the current available free agents. Especially when it comes to rebounding, the Warriors are really below average. As of right now, Golden State is the 8th worst team when it comes to offensive rebounds allowed. In these past 3 games, the Warriors give up 11.3 offensive rebounds per game, which really is unacceptable. Obviously, we won't be having this conversation now if James Wiseman is healthy, but based on what the opposing teams have been doing to attack the paint, it can be amplified in the playoffs. Now, we don't have any concrete information on when James Wiseman and Draymond Green will return healthy. Looking at these next 2 games, which are against the Nuggets, the Trailblazers, and the Timberwolves, which all have either decent or elite level center, it will be interesting to see how Steve Kerr respond. Well, the Warriors are still the 2nd seed in the Western Conference, but looking at the Grizzlies and the Jazz, they can surpass the Warriors anytime. Alright guys, so this wraps up the video. Comment down below to let me know your thoughts about Steve Kerr. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and follow me on social media with all the link in the description down below. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.